One of the things that has had the biggest impact on my life is becoming a student of human behavior and reality. I've been studying human behavior for a little over 15 years, and I'm fascinated by why people behave the way they behave, why they make the choices that they make, and experience the same situations so differently. About 13 years ago, that curiosity expanded into studying metaphysics, perception, consciousness, and the nature of reality itself. Not because I thought I had all the answers, but because I had questions. A lot of questions. I wanted to understand why some people seem trapped in the same cycles for decades while others transform their lives. I wanted to understand why two people can go through something similar and still walk away with completely different outcomes. I wanted to understand why certain things seem to have power over us, and I wanted to understand why I was experiencing the world the way that I did. So for the last 13 years, I've studied these ideas. I've observed them in my own life, tested them against my own experiences, and applied what I've learned throughout my healing journey. And one of the biggest realizations I've had is this. Most people are reacting to reality. I became interested in studying it. Now, when I say that, I don't mean I've figured reality out. I don't think anyone has. What I mean is that I became curious about the relationship between reality and perception. Because the more I paid attention, the more I realized that reality isn't just what happens to us. It's the way we interpret what happens to us. It's the meaning we assign. It's where we place our attention. It's the beliefs we're carrying. It's the assumptions that we're making. It's the stories we tell ourselves. And once I started seeing that, life looked less like a battlefield and more like a chessboard. Not because I could control everything. I can't. None of us can. People still make choices. Unexpected things still happen. Loss still exists. Pain still exists. But I began to see that I had more influence than I thought I did. Not over everything, but over myself. For example, there was a time in my life where I believed that I needed certain people to understand me. So every move I made on the board was an attempt to gain understanding, to explain, to prove, to convince, to finally be seen. But what happened when I changed the move? What happened when I stopped trying to get other people to understand me and started focusing on understanding myself? The entire game changed. The people didn't change. The circumstances didn't necessarily change. But my experience changed. The same thing happened when I started to release expectations. The same thing happened when I started to set healthy boundaries. Same thing happened when I started to choose myself. The same thing happened when I stopped trying to control outcomes and started focusing what was actually within my control. The board didn't change. My moves changed. And because my moves changed, my reality changed. That's why these days I don't really see metaphysics as a way to control reality. I see it as a way to understand my relationship with reality. The more I understand my own patterns, beliefs, assumptions, focus, choices, and perception, the more intentional I become. And the more intentional I become, the more agency I have over the life I'm creating. For me, that's been one of the most empowering realizations of all. Not that I can control the board, but that I can move across it consciously. And maybe that's what growth really is. Not controlling reality, but becoming conscious of how you're participating in it.